Well, welcome back, my beautiful super soul sisters. And today I just wanted to talk about lighten up shoes. Lighten up. I had so much fun this morning, about to go out on my walk, and there was this guy. I posted in the VICKI JANE channel. If you haven't joined, feel free to hop over. It's free. We have such a good time in there, honestly. And I happened to look out the window. I mean, the most amazing things happened to me. Remember that one where I got mooned by that guy? I was like, he didn't even realize I was there. Well, the same thing again. It's actually the same location. Must be something about the stars aligning in this particular spot. Anyway, I'm down by the lake, and there's this guy in this like yellow vest. Go and have a look at the video in the VICKI JANE channel. It's such a hoot. And he's got, he's paired his phone, obviously, to one of those speakers. And he's got his yellow vest on. He's, smartly dressed guy. And he's playing the Eye of the Tiger. There's no one around. It's like literally me, because it's raining. There's nobody else out here. I mean, I walk come sunshine, or snow or rain. So it's literally me. He obviously didn't see that I had parked up. And he's booging away. He's got his Eye of the Tiger music on, and he's doing all these moves. And I was just like, it brought me so much joy. You know that saying of like, dance like nobody's watching. Well, honestly, he was rocking it, absolutely rocking it. And I was just like, it's right outside of a school. So anyway, what happened is, I nearly got out of the car. I was actually going to go and join him. And then what I noticed was, he must have been being a marshal for the school that we've got on the lake here. So I thought, okay, that's interesting. I don't know if he was a dad or if he was one of the teachers, but you know what was incredible? I didn't end up going because I could see all these kids were coming down. So they were running a race in the rain, and he was just making the most of it. So all these kids, it's pelting with rain, it's cold, we're in winter now. They're freezing their buns off in all their athletic kits, haven't got jumpers or anything on, and they're just bolting down the hill. And they come past him, and he's directing them up the hill, pointing, but not just like that way or, oh, yep, you keep on going, guys. He's like doing the moves, like go this way, and booyah to you, and he's doing high fives as the kids are going past. And I was just like, what infectious energy. Like, he just brought so much joy. I mean, he didn't even realize that I saw that, and that just made my day. I was just like, good on you, mate. You just lighten the load when you do that, hey? And it's just that there were about 4 kids at the end that were just sort of like, hanging around him because they just wanted to stay with him. And there were even kids, it was interesting, that really obviously didn't want to be running the race. I mean, it's raining, it's cold, why would you, right? And it's up a hill now. And so he was running with them, dancing, to encourage them. And before you know it, they had a little spring in their step, and away they went. And I was just like, do you know what? Why aren't we all like that all the time? Like, life comes along, knocks the friggin' stuffing out of you sometimes, doesn't it? I mean, like, I'm no exception. I've had my challenges, honestly, we look at these rising stars, or stars who have made it, who have succeeded, they're celebs, or they're a top business person, they've made their millions or whatever. But honestly, like, I've been part of a few of those, challenges lately. And when you listen to some of their stories, man, I tell you what, some of them had some serious stuff happen in their background. And there you are thinking, as I always, like my mum always says, as my dear mother says, compared to what? And you go, damn, man, there I was thinking, oh, it's all right for you, it's easy for you, I don't particularly think that, because I do tend to know that, quite often highly successful people have had real hardships, and it's because they've had the hardships that they've had to toughen up and make it. They, in some of the cases, they just didn't see it as an option not to succeed. They had to succeed in order to survive. It was a survival skill for some of them. Whereas others go, how they look at it was like, oh, that was interesting. I learned this from that. I learned that from that. They didn't let it get them down. And, one of the things that I have is the Quarantine Comedy Corner. Again, it's on Facebook. It's a group. It's free. You can go and join it if you want to. It's just a place to lift spirits and have a laugh, because I think it's so important. Laughter it's, how I talk about the pressure pot and needing to decompress by letting the steam out on a regular basis. Humor is such a good one for that. And it's so simple. You can look at a little cartoon and it can make you laugh your socks off, and it sets you up for the day. It gets those endorphins going. It makes you feel good. You smile. If you're smiling, then you're going to be more infectious to other people as well, in a positive way, not a negative way. So, I always try and bring sense of humor to the table when I'm having a really tough time or other people are having a tough time, because it just takes the edge off and it gives you a moment to breathe. And I was just thinking, there was another time I just absolutely laughed my socks off. This is when I ran my studio, and I think I've told this story before in one of my videos to you, but this was when I had my web studio, and we were having this big fancy meeting in town. And all my staff were some of them were on my side of the table, and we had our guests, that we were taking, our clients that we were taking out on the other. It was a posh restaurant, fine dining, and we're having this big do. And anyway, this kid comes up to the window, beautiful big long windows. Now, I mean, the restaurant owner would have been peeved, but I was absolutely rolling, because he was a little kid. His mum and dad were talking behind him. Now, of course, I'm having conversations with the clients across the table from me, but I can see this kid in the back, and he's bored stiff. He's bored. And what does he do? He goes up to the window and he puts his head on the window. You can see that I'm looking at him. And he starts blowing bubbles like, raspberries. You know how you blow raspberries and you blow like that? He was doing that on the window. Now, I'm not joking. There were bubbles. There were actually bubbles. There was saliva coming out. At one point, it was like it was running down the window, and he started licking it. And I was like, I could barely contain myself. I was just absolutely rolling. And, my project manager at the time was saying, Vicky, stop it. We're having a serious luncheon and all this. And I was like, I don't care. I just think that's just fantastic. What the hell? Why not? And I was just came out of that meeting going, why the hell can't we do that? Why can't, I would have given my eye teeth to be able to go out and join that kid and start blowing raspberries on the windows. We would have lost all our clients if I'd started doing that. They would have thought, she has completely lost the plot. What the hell are we doing business with her for? But we get to a point in our life, it's like, at what point are we not allowed to enjoy it to the point of being silly? Like that guy there, he's out in the flipper, he's in Queenstown, tourists and people, public place. It wasn't even his own backyard. And he's just going for it. And it lit up, I don't know how many kids' lives this morning. It lit up my life. And, I just wanted to go up and say, thank you so much. I wanted to actually do a bit of a video with him to share with you. But, of course, there's kids, so now you're not allowed to do that anymore, are you? And I was like, bum, man, I would have loved to have had a quick chat with him and just go, good on you, mate. You bring the light. You bring the sunshine. And this is what I often say to my kids as well. Is if you're having a bad day, make it a good one. Bring the sunshine. If there is no sunshine, bring the sunshine. You be the sunshine. So if it doesn't take much. you know, you could just start with something, you know, just, you know, stuffing around, do something silly, or, you know, take a break and, you know, tell stupid jokes. I don't know anything. Come join the comedy club if you want to, you know, the quarantine comedy store, comedy corner. I should know what my own group's name is. But I started that in the pandemic because everyone was so down in the dumps. And I was like, I'm serious, like, you know, it's too much. It's too much. It was too much for many people. And we weren't allowed out. And I was like, how can I reach people to lift their spirits? So I started this purely just for, you know, like I just thought maybe a few people. Now we've got hundreds of people who joined that. And I don't care. It's not about numbers. I don't care if I got 10,000 or 100. I didn't care. It was about if I could make one person feel better with all that ridiculous trauma stuff that was happening, you know. I mean, I call it ridiculous, but you know, like it happened. Never, no, you know, whether we liked it or not, you know, it was like what was ridiculous is I never thought that I'd ever live through a plague, you know, in my lifetime. It was never anything that I envisaged. And I was like, how ridiculous is this, that we actually have to stay at home, you know, and you can't actually leave. And we were quite fortunate in New Zealand that we had that flexibility that we could do a bit more of that, more so than in other places. But you get where I'm coming from. And I remember going to a reunion for some road crew because I used to work for an overland company years ago, my husband and myself, and we had a gathering there. And unbeknownst to me, there were some people who are road crew members that, you know, old road crew members who had been part of that group for several years because, you know, everything stretched for that long. And a couple of them came up and said to me, you know what, I just wanted to thank you for starting that group, because honestly, there were days it was so dark and that really got me through. And I was like, what? I didn't even know they were in, you know, one of the members. You know, everybody just, there's people who comment, there's people who read, you know, there's people who watch and they don't participate or whatever. And I have had that so many times. So I've kept the group going. You know, just simply because sometimes you just, you know, you're having a blue day or you're having a hormone day and you're just like, do you know what, I just need to be picked up a little. And so every morning, every night, every morning when I get up, I post some, you know, happy things, whatever it is. I love it when other people share as well. And I do again the same at night. So start your day with a smile, end your day with a smile. You know, before you go to sleep, just go, I'm grateful for everything. I have a bit of a laugh, and then it's time for bed, you know, after I've done some meditation. I do that as well. Oh, I have so many routines. It's funny. Anyway, I hope that you choose to be the light in someone's life today. You know, look to get a smile, a little challenge for you. Get someone to smile today. Tell them a silly joke. Just go total random. You know, I'm just going to tell you the silly joke. I just feel like doing it because I agreed to do this challenge that VICKI Jane said. And let's see, because you will notice, wow, you know, that made a joke. And some people go, okay, we're a bit loopy today. So what? Who cares? Mate, you smile, right? Do it. Just do it, I say, okay? Your shoes, your path, your way. Namaste.